Yo, what's up? Welcome to the Shifters Eyewear YouTube channel. My name is Derek Schockman. I'm the founder of Shifters Eyewear. And today I want to give you 5 things to consider when you're dealing with a Chinese manufacturer for your sunglasses production. Now, here at Shifters Eyewear, we're 3D printing our sunglasses here in the US and also doing small run injection molds in order to get our sunglasses made. And we hope to bring that to the masses eventually once we get our processes down. But more than likely, if you're looking to launch a sunglasses brand, you're probably going to be looking at a manufacturer in China or overseas somewhere else. And so these 5 things are really things to consider. As before Shifters, I had a sunglasses brand called Townie Shades. We got our start by putting the Seattle skyline on the sides of sunglasses, and our manufacturer was in China. So I learned a lot of things along the way, went through a lot of pain in order to get that product to where I thought it should be. So here's my number one thing: quality. You really have to consider the quality control of the factory. You're not going to really know that right out the gate, right? It's kind of a trial and error. What I would recommend, which isn't rocket science, I would request samples from them. I would request a whole bunch of different samples at a whole bunch of different price points. And I would ask for different hinges, different lenses, different finishes, everything, so that you can really get an idea of the different quality they can produce. If they're sending you all cheap sunglasses, they're not going to be able to produce high quality pair that you want. But if they send you a shitty pair, but they also send you a really dialed in pair that's like basically a Ray-Ban, you're going to know that you're going to be able to work with something there. So after you get those samples, design a frame basically that you could have them make, whether that's you use one of their frames that they already have and you throw your design on it, or you create something from scratch, which is going to obviously cost you a little bit more money because you're going to have to do a whole new mold. But just get an idea of their quality and their craftsmanship, really. And maybe even ask for some images of their process in their factory to get an idea of what it looks like and how they actually do things. I think that's going to help you get a sense of like basically the quality level that that factory can produce for you. The second thing to consider when you're choosing a Chinese manufacturer is communication. Communication barrier is real. Now, a lot of these reps have pretty solid English skills, but things still get lost in translation. So when you're communicating with them, it's really important to use images and videos to really point things out when you need to make changes. I figured out that they need to basically have a diagram of me pointing things out when I'm speaking about something. So images, videos are going to be your best friend when communicating. The other thing to consider about communication with a Chinese manufacturer is time zone changes. Now, I know this sounds funny, but like at the end of the day, you're not going to probably be speaking to them at, noon your time. You're going to be up late or early in the morning speaking with them. And that's just the bottom line. Now, of course, there's email communication, but to build a solid relationship, you're going to definitely want to Skype with them, Zoom with them, and basically text them as much as you possibly can. So it's just something to really consider when dealing with an overseas manufacturer. I mean, at the end of the day, you're probably not going to be able to produce sunglasses until we get our shit going here. So it's just something that you're going to have to deal with, and you'll get better at it. And finding that rep that you really like vibe with and trust and get to know on a different level really builds a lot of rapport, and builds that trust. They'll start trusting you and you'll start trusting them. The third thing to consider when dealing with a Chinese manufacturer is quantities. Now, part of the reason why I decided to print things and basically figure out a way to produce the sunglasses here for Shifters in America was because I reached out to my previous manufacturer with my old company, and the quantity levels totally changed. We're here at Shifters trying to do limited runs. So we're trying to do 100 to 250 unit basically runs. So nothing higher than that. And we want to be very limited edition. And basically once something's made, it's never really made again in that exact frame, that exact color, that lens, whatever it may be. And so when I reached out to them, they were telling me like, hey, we're more at like a 2,000 to 3,000 unit minimum, which with Townie, I got them all the way down to 100 before. So that was new to me and I didn't know what to do. So I think that like when you look at manufacturers in China, they're really, to make it worth it, they want that number. So depending on what your business model is, you might need to look at alternative methods. Now, it's not to say that you can't find a manufacturer that basically does a smaller unit run, but how much time are they going to give you? Are they going to really care about your quality? They might not give a shit. So be aware of that. Quantity levels are going to differ. And if you see something where it's like 100 unit MOQ, well, yeah, but they might just be slapping a logo on like some pair of cheap glasses that basically you can't get too much uniqueness going. So just be aware of that. Quantities are really going to impact your business. Number 4 is import fees and regulations. This is a big thing to consider. When I was with Townie, one of our larger orders got stopped at customs and we had no clue why. Well, it turns out that sunglasses are medical devices and the FDA was requiring us to pay this annual fee in order for us to get our sunglasses released, which was just news to us because we flew under the radar for a minute. But these are things to consider because when you're dealing with a manufacturer overseas, you got to make sure that they are FDA compliant. You got to make sure that they're doing everything by the book, because at the end of the day, if their lenses, if their frames don't match what the FDA wants, well, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. You might not be able to sell your sunglasses, and you're going to be basically investing in shades that you're not going to be able to sell. Regulations, shipping, tariffs, import fees. I think sunglasses have like a 2.5% import fee from China. So it's just something to consider because there's some sunk costs there, and you'll get these bills from DHL, FedEx, UPS, whoever you use. Even if you ship them through the port, you're going to get these random bills, and sometimes they're not like astronomical, like the FDA fee, which is now I think $9,000 plus. It was $6,500 when we were selling shades back in 2016. But the point is like these things pop up. It's things to consider, especially when you're small and you're just starting out. So regulations, import fees, all that. And number 5 is your intellectual property. Now, you might not be creating frames from scratch, but designs. And this was huge with us with the Seattle Skyline sunglasses, because we didn't have trademarks on our design per se, but we had such a good relationship with our factory. They could have easily started selling our sunglasses to distributors, to other people that could sell our sunglasses. In fact, we had such a good relationship with our manufacturer that they were getting inquiries from people trying to use our designs and resell them. And they said no, and they made us aware of this. And even other people that didn't want to use our exact design, they were sending in like Seattle Skylines and be like, can you make these for us? They found our manufacturer because our manufacturer ended up kind of advertising on Alibaba our designs in regards to their capabilities, because we kind of did things outside the box. Well, you need to get protected, a design, trademark, whatever it may be. Now, some designs, things can be changed and, there's workarounds. But my point is just like protect what you can protect. If you're creating frames and molds from scratch, absolutely get that protected, because you don't want your factory using your mold to produce sunglasses for other people. I mean, that was something that you invested that cost into. So intellectual property, IP, figure out a way to get things trademarked. If you can get things trademarked, patent, for God's sakes. If you create some crazy hinge or whatnot, get that stuff protected. That really matters. Those are my 5 considerations when dealing with a Chinese manufacturer. This was my first video I did for more informative information. So if you were down with this video, please shoot me a like. And also, if you haven't, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.